What happens when you and your friend are nerdy high school outcasts that cannot get a date? Well, in the 80s, you fire up your computer, despite the internet not really existing, and you make yourself your own girl. On this all-new episode, we're going to party, hang out with Iron Man, and maybe take a trip beyond Thunderdome. Hello and welcome to Totally 80s and 90s Recall. This is a podcast where we'll dive into everything, the radical decades of the 1980s and 90s, through our way from Grey Poupon and The Simpsons to Fire Marshal Bill and the Macarena. If you're new to the show, it's awesome that you've joined us today. And for our returning listeners and subscribers, it's great to have you back. I am one of your hosts, David, joined as always by a man who would also like to butter Lisa's muffin. It is my good friend, Rob.
I like a buttered muffin.
I do. I know you do.
Fakey.
If it's flaky, you don't want it.
No, we don't want that. Okay. Sorry. I thought we were talking about muffins.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Oh, okay. When Dave
you got him way off track.
Yeah, I know.
Way off track.
I'm all discombobulated.
It's my good friend, Rob.
Yay! When Dave approached me about doing a podcast, he said, "This is going to be so beautiful." And I was like, "You know it, Dave." Dave assured me that fame and fortune would follow. He said we'd hit the city for a little drinks, a little nightlife, some dancing. He went on to describe how we'd throw a party, a huge party. One of those parties where everybody would be invited. And if one so chose, there'd be women everywhere, naked bodies everywhere. This is what he told me. He promised me everyone would know our names. Then I had to remind Dave that nobody likes us. Nobody. Dave was quick to reply, "Why are you messing with the fantasy? We already know about the reality. Don't ruin the fantasy, okay?" Then Dave continued. He said, "And then we'd hit it. We'd be a hit, man. We'd be popular. We'd be revered, man. We'd be studs. When the smoke clears, the listeners will fall amazingly, completely, and totally in love with us, Rob. If you walk away from today's episode hearing nothing, at least hear this. We're glad you're here to check us out. And before you get any thoughts, despite what you've heard about how much of a mind scrambler it is, no, you cannot shower with us."
Ooh. I would argue that everything that I told you is factual, so that's fine. We are revered. We are popular.
Okay.
Champagne rains from the heavens.
That's right.
Splashes down.
Naked bodies everywhere.
Naked bodies everywhere.
That's right. That's
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You go.
It's hard to keep them away. So
it's a curse, really.
Now, one person who has no problem keeping any naked women away.
That's true.
Is the Movie Hound that's joining us today. He has
What's going
chosen. If you check us out on YouTube, he's chosen to look like a Bible salesman or something here with this.
Sure, that sounds better.
Funky mustache we got going on. But welcome back to the show anyway, Kurt.
Well, thank you. Hello. It's good hanging out with the movie boys once again.
Once again.
I don't now see when you have that mustache when you say boys. Upsets me. It upsets me a lot.
I've got just a few more weeks of summer vacation left, so I can only look like a creep for just a few more weeks.
That summer vacation doesn't defend what this is. It's not.
My favorite part is earlier you said it's off-putting.
It is.
That was the phrase.
Yeah. It's unsettling.
Well, pudding does get stuck in the mustache.
I like it.
You're a liar, sir.
Yes. Well, no,
I don't even like it. But I know it annoys my children and my wife, so I did it.
All right. So, welcome back. Anyway,
I can say this is just the beginning. It's going to get weird.
It's already weird. So.
Hey,
You don't have any hello for us today or anything? You
just did it.
Cooking anything up?
Well, there's always something cooking.
Oh, okay.
You get stuck.
No, stop. That's too many. The timeout button. You're going to get put in timeout a lot today.
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
So, all right. Well, we're all back together. Together again.
But you just said we can't shower, though, together.
He said that. I actually made no comment on
it. So he's up for it.
We'll bring you in, Rob.
He's like, I'm not ruling it out.
We're going to go ahead and pull you back in.
I'm out.
Nope. You might go out, but you're always coming back in.
I'm going to shower with my shorts on.
As long as you keep your jeans on.
I'm going to go, full jeans and chucks and everything on.
Nothing better than wet jeans. That's
it's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. It's good on
jeans.
the inner thighs.
Especially us big
no
boys.
Friction.
Just
the thighs.
The big thigh boys.
Man.
Yeah, that's okay. What are we anyway?
You're welcome.
Hey, why don't we transition away from big thigh boys and
Oh, that's a new t-shirt.
Rob? Why don't you go ahead and tell the fans what we're actually here to talk about today?
We were talking about 1985's Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are we excited?
We are.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, as always.
I like it. Well, we're about to take the excitement up to 11 because we're going to roll the original theatrical trailer.
You know, it's not a bad idea.
What?
Making a girl. Actually making a girl.
This is Wyatt and Gary.
I'd give her warm digits memory glands.
Something's about to change their world. Something out of this world.
She's alive! Alive!
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
It's all in the name of science. Weird science.
If you want to be a party animal, you have to learn to live in the jungle.
Not us.
Not here.
No way.
She is turning their lives,
Trust me for once, will you?
What is going on?
Gary, I don't know. I don't know.
their minds, and their house upside down.
It's seriously affecting your sex life.
It's completely unnatural.
Do you realize it's snowing in my room?
Totally unbelievable.
What's going on?
And definitely weird.
Hi, dudes.
They went from zeros to heroes in one fantastic weekend.
That's so good.
Universal Pictures presents a John Hughes film, Weird Science.
It's purely sexual.
There you
It's
go.
always purely sexual.
Wow,
That's
that's
right.
right.
So, especially when you look like that guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, you both said you were excited, so
Yeah.
take that excitement and let us know, what do you remember about watching this movie for the first time?
It was okay.
Whoa,
Just kidding. I'm going to bring it down.
this is 2 in a row.
That's right.
I can't remember the first time I watched it.
Ever?
It was probably at the
Is this the
babysitter's.
first time you've watched it when you did it for this
Oh, no.
show? Oh, okay.
I had seen it before, but
Yeah.
it'd been
Can't remember.
years and years since I'd watched it
Gotcha.
before. But of the movies that we've previewed,
Yes.
I laughed more in this one than the ones we've done before.
Really?
I did.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah. I found this the funniest one we've done yet.
Wow. Funnier than
I-
Spaceballs.
I found it way funnier
Well,
than Spaceball.
He hated
Okay.
Spaceballs.
I
know.
didn't hate
Gave it
Spaceball.
like an 8 out of 10.
No, I
Wasn't that
It
bad?
wasn't bad. But
Yeah.
this one was funny. I
Okay.
found myself laughing a lot.
Laughing a lot.
See, I was the opposite of that. This one was a little lower on the John Hughes rail. than
Really?
For me.
Oh yeah, as
You
far
mean-
as John Hughes movies go, that's a
From
different.
when you remember?
That's a different conversation, though.
From when what I remember, I was probably watched it when I was 12. So
Oh, yeah.
like any 12-year-old boy, it was great.
It was great.
Oh, that's funny. I saw
But
one
now
review.
I would say it's
Yeah, I saw a review. It said exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
That one of the criticisms was that it felt like it was written by a 12-year-old boy.
No. It's
And
good.
I was like, I think there's some. It's a very.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's 80s.
It's fun to feel 12 again.
Yeah.
Right, Kurt?
I try not to feel any 12s.
You
Makes
should.
me feel all funny.
Funny. This came out in 85, so I was 9. I did not see it when it first came out,
No.
but like a year later, it came out at the Little Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to go to the Little Theater with some friends. We saw a double feature. It was
Ooh.
this and Val Kilmer's Real Genius.
Oh,
No, that's a good
So
one.
we paid
Also a
like
good
we
one.
paid like $2, and we got to watch the double feature. So I remember watching Weird Science. I remember laughing a lot, like how Rob was saying he was laughing. I was laughing a ton, but I was 10, so I probably didn't understand everything that was in the movie, but it's got a lot of jokes that obviously 10-year-olds will love. But I've watched it ever since then. Like I watched it in high school. I watched it in college. I watched it in the Air Force. I watched it again, obviously getting ready for this, and I still like it. I think it's still really funny, and it just reminds me, like some movies remind you of being a kid in the 80s. That reminds me the way everything looks, the way they talk, just everything's perfect.
Yeah, I found a lot of reviews where they people consider this an underrated John Hughes movie, and I agree with that. I
Nice.
think a lot of times the 16 Candles
Well,
and the Breakfast Club, and
I would
he
say-
gets associated with the Ferris Buellers and stuff
Yes.
like that. But I think
I
I
would
agree
say-
with that. I think this is an underrated John Hughes movie.
I would say
John
if
Hughes
I'm ranking John Hughes movies, I like this better than Pretty in Pink.
movie.
I've
I
seen
do
Pretty
as
in
well.
Pink.
I
Now,
agree
Pretty in
with that.
Pink probably wasn't meant for me when it came out, but that
Yeah.
came out in 86. And it's a good movie, but it's not overly funny or any of those other things. Maybe it's not meant to be as much, but I think this is better than Pretty in Pink. So
I liked it. I thought it was really funny. And
yep. Look at that, Mr. Positivity today.
Positive.
I love it.
I'm gonna play the opposite. I'm gonna play Rob today.
Are you? Yeah, that's okay.
I think it's a good movie, but it's not one that I'm gonna watch every year. It's not one that I'm gonna go seek out most of the time. If it's on, I'll watch it. I think there's parts that are funny. There's parts that definitely have not aged well at all.
Oh
no,
yeah,
it's all aged fine. First of all, there's nothing wrong with it.
Sure.
But, yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a perfect encapsulation of 1985. So if you look at it from that aspect, that's perfect.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
Absolutely agree.
I do.
That's good.
What did I do?
What did I do?
Yeah, there you go.
What's that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but
Is that new?
I don't know.
You trying something out?
it's his new
We're
catchphrase.
just trying stuff.
It's the new
Sometimes,
catchphrase of the Robsters.
Sometimes,
Welcome to the podcast. See, we just try stuff randomly.
I don't know if Robsters
Don't
will
do
like that one.
No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't.
You know, he says Robsters. I've been getting a lot of things lately. I had a lady on YouTube put hashtag Robsters.
Wow. On the hashtag.
She tried to get that trending.
Wow.
And I've had on other things that, I'm a Robster. Oh, I'm a Robster.
In our last episode, our guest said he's an unabashed Robster.
You've got like a little army. You're like Eminem with the...
People like me.
What is it? The Eminem? Remember all the dudes with the white T-shirts when they came out in MTV Music Awards?
People like me.
It's his little Eminem army.
You're just the everyday man.
Yeah.
See.
Is that what he is?
I guess.
Is that...
I mean, he puts in sod. He's got tractors. He's the everyday man.
On the last episode, he was talking about farming. So he's down.
I gotta...
He's got the tan to prove it.
Down home cooking people.
Literal redneck.
Right? That's right.
Literal
redneck.
Literal. Yes.
I'm sure our other redneck fans will say, "Oh, he's one of us now."
That's right.
You don't think that accidentally alienate any of them?
No.
All right.
No.
Okay, so
Fits right in.
all right. Well, biker gangs, nuclear missiles, hot babes, sports cars, and a talky mutant blob. That's right. It's a weekend in the Chicago suburbs in 1985 as we learn some weird science.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention? Elastic tubes and pots and pans, bits and pieces, and the magic from my hand will make it weird science. Things I've never seen before.
Is that a top 5, top 10 80s movie song? Now, I'm not talking about a whole soundtrack, but just a song for a particular movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one that is a...
It's almost as memorable as the movie.
Well, that's what, and you, in one of our episodes, you used that as a criteria. You said, when you play it, what do you think of?
The movie.
The movie.
Yeah,
that's it, right? Right up there with Danger Zone.
But what's his name? Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
His work with Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo. Yeah. My wife loves to always, her parents, when she was younger.
Your father-in-law was a
father-in-law guy. Oingo Boingo
Still has all the albums and everything.
Yeah, the Oingo Boingo.
Got him on vinyl?
He does.
Wow.
I like that name, Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
How do you think that? I think that came about.
They were drunk.
This isn't a musical. Not a musical episode.
We'll say drunk, but
drugs were involved.
Chemicals were involved of some sort.
Yes.
I think it's good though. But that guy's gone on to be a rock star. Old Elfman.
Well, he's done a lot of crazy stuff.
He's literally like Tim Burton's go-to composer for all movies. He's done everything. I looked at his
it's kind of a big deal.
Biography, and man,
kind of
if there's a big movie in the last 30, 40 years,
he's a scary looking dude.
The music.
He's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to go scary in case, Danny, if you're listening, I don't think you're scary. I just think you have a lot of character in your face.
Character in your face.
Scary.
Do you think? Oh,
yes.
Well, if Danny's listening, I would hate to alienate him. So we'll just go.
I like the guy.
You like him?
Yeah. I feel like.
How do you know? How do you know?
He's in a text train.
You don't even know.
I feel like Danny would be a straight shooter.
And
he would respect your
opinion.
Say it.
That you scare him.
Don't pussyfoot around it.
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh. You know. That's all.
You emphasize one part of that word more than the other. Yes.
I put a lot of emphasis on that word.
Put a lot of emphasis.
Which one?
Not foot. All right. So before we begin reliving this week's movie, we like to give you, the listeners, the important information about said movie. And for that, I regretfully toss it over to the Movie Hound himself. Hey, you wait.
We got all the buttons.
You
everything
waited this week. I know.
Well, I waited last time, but the music didn't come, so then it was dead. So all right, we got it. Now let's see if I can read words.
One day we'll figure it out.
Reading
We're almost
words.
there.
One day we're going to be so good at this.
So good.
So good.
Oh my God.
No. Okay.
Do I have to read it like that?
No,
Amazing.
information. Go. You
All
should
right,
not read it like
information.
that.
3, 2, 1, information.
Oh, my God.
Weird Science was released on August 2nd, 1985. The movie was written and directed by John Hughes. The movie was made on a budget of just $7.5 million and made close to $39 million at the box office.
Really good.
Really good. Weird Science stars Anthony Michael Hall, Ilan Mitchell-Smith, Kelly LeBrock, Bill Paxton, Jody Aronson, Suzanne Snyder, and Robert Downey because he had not added the junior yet.
Ooh.
Weird Science has a Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 60% and an audience score fitting for this movie of 69%.
69.
69 dudes. The movie soundtrack includes the song Weird Science, which we just listened to, written by Danny Elfman and performed by Oingo Boingo. The song reached number 45 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 21 on the U.S. Dance Club charts, and number 81 in Canada.
He's doing some music work here.
It is Oingo Boingo's most successful single ever.
Oh, nice.
Now, Rob, as David goes to the bathroom to comb his hair while he lets the water run, please tell us about this movie by doing a segment we call Back of the Box.
Back of the box, back of the box. Box, 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 back of the box.
All right, so this is Weird Science. Rated PG-13, by the way. 80s PG-13 is the best.
It is.
It's the best.
Really
Yes.
good.
The Frankenstein legend takes an uproarious twist in this outrageous special effects-laden comedy from the writer-director of 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club. Critically acclaimed filmmaker John Hughes is at it again, giving nerdy computer whiz Ilan Mitchell-Smith and best friend Anthony Michael Hall power to create the, quote, perfect woman, unquote, parentheticals, the tantalizing Kelly LeBrock.
Ooh.
Like a computer-generated fairy godmother, the duo's out-of-this-world creation guides the pair through the pleasures and the pitfalls of adolescence, with a rock beat supplied by many music superstars, including Oingo Boingo. This far-out sci-fi fable brings everyone's favorite teen fantasies to life through the miracle of weird science. Running time, 1 hour, 34 minutes.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I do like that. 1 hour 34. It's nice and compact.
It is.
It feels like a quick movie, but it's still fun, so it doesn't feel like it drags on.
Yeah, and the back of the box really highlights the fact that it's in color.
Oh, it should be in color.
Well,
It's
85 colors new.
85 colors new.
Yes, color / 1 hour 34 minutes.
Ooh,
PG-13.
Really good.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want you to get confused. Is this a black and white
Yeah.
movie?
That's right.
Yeah. So black and white.
Is it
Could've been
artistic?
black and white.
No.
Yeah.
But I do like the hour and 34 minutes. I was telling you too, yesterday was the anniversary of the release in 1986 of Howard the Duck.
Howard.
You love that.
So I don't
You-
love it.
Not anymore,
I don't
apparently.
love it at all. I promise you.
You
After the
reference
rewatch.
it a lot. You rewatched
just
it.
because it's silly. But so Connor wanted to watch it last night on the anniversary, right? Rob?
Anniversary.
So we watched it. It's 2 hours, and it feels like 7. And it's too long, and it's way worse than I
we
remember.
just watched the new Kevin Costner Western.
Oh, Horizon.
3 hours.
Man,
And I want to like him,
but you can't.
and I like a good
But you
Western.
can't.
You can't do
That
it.
is 3 hours
It's
of nonsense.
Nonsense. Hey, it's almost like he just ran Dances with Wolves back. I'm just going to do it again.
No.
All right.
And people are 3 hours.
That's rough. They canceled the second one. There was supposed to be a part 2.
It's not good.
And they're not releasing
Yeah,
it now
no.
because
3 hours.
it fell
Poor
in.
Kevin.
It fell in the toilette. All right. It didn't do well.
And I thought, man, the people that are reviewing this are wrong.
No.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I try to find the
And
good in things.
Rob's a big Costner guy. Like
I like a Costner Western.
he's got a poster in
but
his room.
it's- I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Of
room.
Open Range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. When he was on that.
Yeah.
So
Robert Duvall.
Blue Bonnet. All right. Well, if you're new to the show, the three of us will talk a little bit of parts of this movie, Weird Science, not Horizon or anything else we branched off to, and not Howard the Duck. Before we jump into some categories where we'll share our favorite and maybe not so favorite moments from Weird Science. So first thing we always talk about is the casting choices. How did we feel about the cast of this movie?
I do like the cast. Ilan, his voice is so annoying.
Oh, yeah.
But
think
it's
it's
the
supposed to
perfect.
be.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's the perfect
My wife
annoying
commented on that.
for the
Yeah.
14, 15-year-old
Yes, I think-
adolescent boy because
That's
it's
great.
so high-pitched and squeaky.
Yeah.
15-year-old.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's
He
perfect.
plays at 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
That was
supposed to
one
be,
thing my wife said. She goes, "What's with this voice?" Both of them have very high.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be.
doesn't even have a voice
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're both socially inept. Everything.
Yeah.
I think it works
Yeah.
perfect. So
I did see that Demi Moore and Robin Wright auditioned for the Lisa part.
oh yes.
Yeah. And then they kept talking about Kelly LeBrock's character, Lisa,
Lisa.
was originally played by Kelly Emberg.
Yeah. So
For
it's a
two
I don't know
different
who that is.
neither do I. She was some
I had,
model.
I had to Google her, and I
She's just a model.
don't know who she
But
is.
she basically quit because Kelly LeBrock turned it down the first
She
time.
was on the beaches somewhere.
Yeah,
She was like
she was-
vacationing. or
Yeah,
something.
and then the girl quit, the second girl,
Yeah.
and so they called her, and literally she said like the next day she was on a plane,
Yeah.
and she showed up on set. So it was only her second movie ever. Before Weird Science, she did The Woman in Red
Oh,
with
yeah.
is that Gene Wilder? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good by the way. Very bad rating.
Not a good Gene Wilder.
Not a good movie.
And was she connected with Steven Seagal?
Do it. They were married.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
married
that's
for
right.
like 9
Okay.
years.
She was
Yeah.
Mrs. Seagal.
So there's got to be something wrong upstairs.
Can you
with that.
imagine
Wow.
that? Man, Kelly, get in here.
I bet. Did he take her to the bank?
Take you to the, blood
Take you to the blood bank. Maybe not.
You'll hear that later, folks.
Gross. Okay. I saw for Gary, they also brought in John Cusack, Michael J. Fox, and Jim Carrey.
Oh.
So all for Gary, but that didn't work out. So Gary,
Oh, Gary.
and Wyatt also auditioned Eric Stoltz and Emilio Estevez. By the way, they auditioned and that guy beat them out. So they must have wanted more of the nerdy.
Yeah.
like because Emilio and Stoltz would have been like two. They're not nerds. You're like these guys aren't nerds.
No, they're too
Connor,
serious.
Connor mentioned that when we watch it, he goes, particularly Anthony Michael Hall, he goes, why is he considered a nerd? He's like, he's a good looking guy. I mean, he looks pretty. And I'm like,
I
yeah,
wondered that.
I know. So,
Yeah.
but that was his shtick in the 80s was he was the nerdy kid. In Breakfast Club, he's nerdy. In 16 Candles, he's nerdy. So, but I agree.
And then 4 years later, he's
yeah.
taller, buffer, and he's
Buffer.
the bad guy, the jock in
Yeah, he's good.
Edward Scissorhands.
Well, yeah.
Oh, along with Demi Moore and Robin Wright, I saw Terry Hatcher was also brought in. But they were all too good for that. So what are you gonna do? Anthony Michael Hall turned down European Vacation to make this.
I read that.
Weird
Which,
Science.
which started the no kid
Rotating
repeats.
kids. Yeah, because they had already signed on the other Dana, whatever her name was. They had already signed her on. Then he said he wasn't going to come back, and they didn't want to have mismatched that way.
Yeah.
So that poor girl had to basically she signed on to the European Vacation, and they came back and go, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Anthony.
You're out. Anthony's not coming back. So now we're going to have the double kids, which, by the way, European Vacation, I think is pretty good, but the kids are horrible. Like the choices they made were bad.
Well, didn't I read that there's never been the same
Yeah.
Rusty?
No, yeah. Or
It's like
they've
it's
never been the
always
same
been
any
a-
of them.
It's always been different. I think Anthony Michael Hall came back for something recently,
Okay.
Yeah.
but that was the only time a kid
Yeah.
had repeated.
Nice.
I saw that the two main actors that they were paid quite a bit different.
Oh, of course.
Michael
yeah.
Hall was an established star at the time, so
Yeah.
he made $300,000 for the movie,
Very good.
Ilan
and
made
then
half of that.
he made
Is it
$150,000.
Ilion?
Yeah, how do you say it? Is it Ilan?
I think it's Ilan. I just
Elon?
read it again
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, okay.
I had it going so
I
well
like the
today.
Ilan. I like
I
that.
know.
Yeah, it's very
It's
It's
exotic.
just a
Elon.
mustache. It
Sounds
sounds
exotic.
French.
Yeah, the way you
Ilion.
say it.
Ilion. Yeah,
Ilion.
see?
Ilion.
It's the mustache. Yeah, but then he said it's a lot of it talks about how he wasn't mad about it.
No.
Because he said it's a lot of money, especially for a 15-year-old. He's
Oh,
15 when he made it. So
Yep.
150,000 for a 15-year-old in 1985.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like how
I'll take that.
he
I'll take
left acting and
Yeah,
got his
he's a-
PhD in medieval
Medieval
studies.
studies.
Yeah.
I think
He
so.
did. He has come back and done. He did an episode of Goldberg's.
Yeah.
So he's acted a little since then. But yeah, he teaches. He's like a professor.
Yep.
Of I don't even know medieval studies.
What
That's
it- yeah.
that's a class.
He's into that.
yeah.
He's like,
So
I
what do
worked
you-
with a guy
you
that
think you
was
just
into
played
role playing.
Dungeons and Dragons for
He
the whole
went,
semester.
no, they went
or-
to like no. I worked with a guy that was into that, and they would go to Renaissance fairs and stuff, and they would dress up, and it was
Yeah.
all about. I mean, they were into that, and they had fake names.
Did a
and-
lot of
Call it-
LARPing.
LARPing. That's what it's called. LARPing.
LARPing. Is that what it's called?
It's-
Live
Sounds-
action role play.
Role play.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
It
Wow.
sounds
Oh, boy.
bad, but it's not.
Does it sound bad?
I don't know. Later, just walk up to your wife in the kitchen and go, hey, later when the kids go to bed, you want to LARP? And just see what she thinks.
No,
She's going to assume it's something bad.
No, my wife doesn't
LARP?
Doesn't LARP.
Well, you don't
She
know unless you
automatically
ask.
knows
She'd
she
be
won't LARP.
She won't
She's
LARP.
like, we have a
Doesn't know what it
personal
is, but-
space thing. We have personal bubble. She's like, back up.
It's a no LARPing household. So.
I read that
Get him a sign.
it had different titles in different parts of the country.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
saw that too.
So in Japan, it was called Electric Venus.
I like that.
Which somebody confused and said electric penis. at
Oh,
one
I love
point.
it.
No. How
It-
could they ever?
In Germany, it was Cool Magic with Lisa.
I like that.
In Denmark, it was Touch Me, I'm Yours.
That's good.
In Finland and Sweden, it was called Dream Woman.
Oh, very
Ah.
good. Well, it's because the way that when the language translates, they just come up with weird stuff. The last casting thing I saw was Michael Biehn was actually before Paxton was considered for Chet. So Michael Biehn,
I could see him.
You know Michael Biehn?
Yeah.
He was Terminator. He came
Yeah.
back,
Oh, yeah.
and he was in Tombstone. He's Johnny Ringo.
Johnny
Ringo.
Yeah, and then he's also in.
I got one for each of you.
He's in The Rock. He's the Navy SEALs captain or whatever that directs them, and they all get
He's
shot.
also
and
in
they
the-
all die.
He's also in The Abyss.
Oh, you like The Abyss? So
he implodes in the end.
Michael Biehn is.
He's
been
everywhere,
around.
yeah.
I think he's underrated. I think
He's a
pretty
James
clutch.
Cameron protege.
He was also
James Cameron loves him.
Also in the movie Navy SEAls with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
So.
he's in a lot of
He
things.
likes. He's good as a military type guy.
Yeah,
He's a good. He's a good leader like
He's a
that.
good.
So well, Rob jumped ahead to some interesting
Sorry, I gotta-
facts,
yeah.
but it's fine. So we got some interesting facts about the movie. I saw a studio wanted Hughes to direct Weird Science. He did not want to because he was working on Breakfast Club. So these were basically filming kind of at the same time. But he agreed to do it because the studio said he couldn't direct and make Breakfast Club if he didn't make Weird Science. So he basically made Weird Science so he could make, because Breakfast Club was his baby project.
yeah.
That was his thing. But they were both released in 1985. But
And he
did
wrote it in
say-
2 days.
Wrote it in 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
That's
But he
nuts.
did say he did not have a good time like filming this movie because, and it's not because the movie's bad. He says because he was so concentrated on the Breakfast Club.
Well, him
So-
and I read that him and
Anthony Michael Hall.
they fell out.
They did.
For
Well,
some, I
so-
couldn't find out why.
So what happened was, because I did find out.
We found out.
I watched an interview.
Ooh.
So, and it was Anthony Michael Hall who gave the interview. So what he said was there was a part in Pretty in Pink. I think it was the Ducky part or one of the parts he wrote for Anthony Michael Hall. But Anthony Michael Hall told him he couldn't do it because he was too busy. And it made John Hughes very upset because, and he wanted him in Ferris Bueller too, by the way, which we talked about on the Ferris Bueller. So basically he wanted him in Ferris Bueller, he wanted him Pretty in Pink, and he turned both of those down to do other projects, and Hughes got upset about it. So then him and Hughes basically had a falling out. But Anthony Michael Hall said he still loved him and he thought he was a great director, and he thanks him for basically getting on that. But he was already booked and he couldn't, and he said once he told him he was booked, he just got angry and stopped talking to him. That's what Anthony Michael Hall said. So, and he said he couldn't even contractually get out of the other projects he was doing. And I think for Ferris Bueller, the other project was Johnny Be Good. So
we went to the
couldn't get
theater
out
and saw
of
that.
Wow.
I do remember that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
He was
Is
a good,
it?
He was a good football player. And Uma Thurman's in that, and Mr. Robert Downey Jr. If you haven't seen Johnny Be Good, you should watch it. It's great.
I think I saw it probably
did.
in 89.
It's
Is that a bad movie that rules?
It could be.
Hey.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I like it. So
I read that Ilan Mitchell-Smith got carried away kissing Kelly LeBron.
I saw this as well. Well, I want to bring up this. I had this in questions, but you can bring
Yeah.
it since you brought it
Okay.
up. Now I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
So when he's filming the movie, he's 14.
That's funny. My wife was doing the math. She was
Yes.
sitting over the couch and she was like,
He's 14 legitimately.
she was
She's
25,
24.
24. 24. yeah.
24 filming, and they're making out on screen. Now, my wife's like, it's the 80s or whatever, but I'm like, if that was, you couldn't do that today.
Oh.
That would go cancel
one of my
fast,
questions
right?
was reverse those rules and see
That's
how
what I'm saying.
fast that
Yeah,
doesn't
I said
go.
that. What if you had a 24-year-old dude kissing a 14-year-old girl on film? Is that fine?
This ain't R. Kelly.
And they're squeezing the butts.
Yeah.
I want to piss on you.
wow.
Can we make R. Kelly jokes yet?
Wow. Nope.
Well, you did.
Nope.
So
Nope.
That's
Yeah.
that's per way of Chappelle. I'll give him credit for the
Yeah.
piss on you. Doo-doo butter.
Yes.
All right. So
it says natural. So I read it said aged just 14 at
Yes.
the time of shooting.
Yeah.
Ilan Mitchell-Smith became the envy of millions thanks to the scene in which he gets to kiss Kelly LeBrock full on the lips.
Yes.
Given the actor's youth and inexperience, we can't really blame him for getting a bit carried away. He would sticking his tongue. He would end up sticking his tongue in LeBrock's mouth. Naturally, LeBrock, 24 at the time, was taken aback by this, causing her to warn Mitchell-Smith, if you ever do that again, I'm going to kick your ass.
it wouldn't even be her because it'd probably be Steven. Hey, kid,
Yeah.
Get your tongue out of her mouth.
I'm going to take you to the blood bank.
Blood bank. Oh my goodness. This is my favorite. This is my favorite interesting fact that I found. So Downey Jr., who at this time was a bit of a prankster slash.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's
I
on
think I know
drugs
that.
slash everything. Right. So he almost got fired because he pooped in another actor's trailer.
He
It was one
defecated.
of the female co-stars. He pooped, and not in the toilet, thinking that it would
Not
be a
even
really
an upper decker.
funny prank. So he was 19 at the time when he shot Weird Science, and him and actually the other guy, the guy who plays Max, I guess they were having a running prank war or something.
Yeah.
And so he thought this was going to win the prank war. And so for a long time, they said it was one of the two girls, the girlfriends, but it ended up, it wasn't. It was the girl who's on the chain with the Road Warrior guy.
Yeah.
That's whose trailer he
Got defecated in.
he went poo poo in. Could you imagine?
He dropped a BM.
I just can't see Robert Downey Jr. sneaks into a trailer, goes in the middle of the trailer, and just goes, "All right, this is what I'm going to do now," and then just drops.
What do
it.
you say in that one scene? If you're going to float a something biscuit, dang it.
Oh yeah, floating air biscuit.
Air biscuit.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I think I'm
Although
not a fan.
I've
Anyway, turn on the
seen it. I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Smartless, and they were talking to Robert Downey Jr. He used to talk about when he'd go to parties in the Hollywood Hills, and they would do pranks on people's houses. He goes, if it was a house of someone I didn't like or I didn't know, he goes, I'd go into their bathroom. He goes, I'd find their potpourri thing or whatever it was, and he goes, I'd take a crap in it, and then I'd leave.
Heard and Johnny Depp.
I was going to say, maybe that's what happened on Johnny Depp's bed.
There you go. So anyway, Robert Downey, I'm sure he's grown up since then, but back in the day, he was a serial crapper. It turns out,
Serial
a serial
crapper.
pooper.
I read that Kelly LeBrock described it, her character as Mary Poppins with breasts.
Oh,
I believe Mary had
I believe the real
breasts.
Mary Poppins had breasts. Julie Andrews would argue, I do have boobs.
She didn't have these breasts.
Not those.
We were talking about this on the way here, but in 1994, there was a TV version of the
Yeah,
movie.
I never watched it.
I never.
We're like,
I
we
didn't
never
know-
watched
I
it. It
never
was
even
on for like
heard
4
of it.
seasons.
No, I didn't know.
5 seasons, 88 episodes, and I never watched one of them.
I didn't know.
I didn't even hear about it.
I did read
So-
that they're looking in 2013. There was talk of a remake,
Oh, no thanks.
but I guess it's in kind of development hell.
No, it can stay.
Yeah.
It can
should
stay in
there.
hell.
It's supposed to be a sequel starring Channing Tatum.
Nope. I'm good.
So-
Let's just keep it the way it is. We
I
don't
was
need
going
to
to say
change
they
it.
started planning that after 21 Jump
Yes.
Street movies came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So they were trying to in the rehashing.
Let's
mode.
just get away from that. So,
I saw that Lisa's named after the Apple Lisa
Oh,
computer,
yeah. Ooh,
which
very-
is the first personal computer to have a graphical user interface.
look at that. And who says our podcast isn't smart? Boop, 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 boop.
And then we do that.
That is why we're not smart. And now we've done it for a minute and a half.
Take me to Weird Science.
Wow.
I saw that the exterior shots of the high school, same as 16 Candles and
There were-
Risque Business.
There were a lot of locations used in other movies. So
course.
locations for 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller, The Breakfast Club, some other ones. Yeah,
I like it.
You just and some of them are the exact same shot. I
Well,
can't remember
saves
if
money.
it was. I don't remember if it was 16 Candles, but at the end, there's it's the exact same footage.
Oh, yeah.
They just repurposed.
It's a good spot.
yeah.
I mean,
John Hughes saving
he
money.
likes the same spots.
That's why the budget was only $7.5 million.
That house, the exterior shot of Gary or Wyatt's house is the same as in 16 Candles.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's that same party house. So he picked that one out, and he's like, "That's the one. We're gonna
I read that. So the piano girl,
piano girl." Yes,
when she gets sucked out, and it
Yes.
shows
Only
her-
nudity in the film.
Yeah,
Yes.
it says the
a
piano
great
girl,
pair of Rob.
New 80s
New York boobs. There you go.
I know. Yeah. Our
Sorry,
wives are gonna
Laurel.
be- I
No,
know.
she's fine.
She hates the
We
New
haven't
York
talked
boobs.
about New York boobs in a while, so she's
The
fine.
hater of all things doesn't
The
like
hater of all
80s
things
right.
really hates
Yeah.
boobs.
The piano girl having her
love
clothes
boobs.
ripped off. No. So,
First of all, big announcement on the podcast. I love boobs.
hey,
I believe we all do.
yeah. No, don't spray in the tongue though.
Got to be careful.
Yeah,
It's tough
you gotta-
out there.
you gotta,
Gotta stretch.
so that scene where she gets sucked through, it was named
Yes.
number 17
Yes.
in its top 20 gratuitous nude scenes of the 1980s by the website Flashback.
I like it.
Number 17.
As
Yeah.
gratuitous, it's really just a flash.
That's
is a
funny. It
flash,
says,
but
which
it's
is
good.
strange considering how mild and brief the scene actually is. Yeah,
Yeah.
you barely see him. You have to pause
You
it.
g- And believe me, he
I
did.
paused it. Trust me. And I know right where to pause it.
I know the exact number.
When I was
I mean, if you wanted to, one has told me that you could pause
When
it.
I was 11 and 12 years old, I had a piece of paper and that timestamp was written on it. Okay, pause. Boom.
Followed
There
by
I go.
slow motion.
That's right.
For 20
slow
seconds.
motion format. And
That's
then
when
I had-
Laserdisc came out.
Yeah, I had
so
that.
you could go like
Frame
scene
by
at a
frame.
frame by frame.
I had times for that. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I got
You had a little notebook?
Porky's. Yeah, just like if I'm
It was
watching the
getting-
movie,
it was getting passed around high
pause.
school.
That's right.
If anybody wanted to
if
know,
anybody
ask
wants
Dave.
to know, a good
That's
shot
right.
of New York boobs.
You went
boom.
2 minute 34
There you go.
seconds.
2 minute
He had
34
that-
seconds.
You'll thank me.
He had that notebook till the pages stuck together.
I even had it.
Why is
Hey,
this
hey
all
now.
stuck
Yes,
together?
I retranscribed it. But I had.
There's
you
no
know,
tossing
It
up.
wasn't just the timestamps. I had side boob, full front,
Oh, wow.
nipple only,
Full front.
top,
You had little
rear
column.
view.
Oh yeah. You know, it's all perfect. Feet. I had that thing mapped out.
I mean,
I
you had,
was a connoisseur of boobs. It would be so.
I know you will all be shocked that
You'll be
his
shocked.
love of boobs.
Yes,
Oh,
who
boy.
knew?
5
So-
minutes of boob talk.
Well, we didn't
We
do
haven't
any
talked
boob
about
talks
it in a
while.
long time.
We did.
So
We haven't. We've been good.
There was
owed
no
the
boobs in
audience.
Spaceballs.
There
from
was
last
none.
one, so.
Not that
That's
I could
true.
see. Yeah. So, what are you gonna do?
Not even a man boob.
There wasn't.
There could be.
And
Billy.
Over the Top didn't have any boobs.
That's right.
For all the greatness of Over the Top, no boobs. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Hey,
So-
I found that there were
Good transition.
a number of 80s horror movie stars appear in the film. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So Judy Ronson, who plays Hilly,
Hilly.
one of the girls,
I like her.
has previously appeared in Friday the 13th, 1984. Deb
1984.
went on to work. Deb, the other girl,
Yes.
went on to work. She was in Night of the Creeps, Return of the Living Dead, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Night of the Creeps is good.
Yeah. The Sue, the perfume girl,
Uh,
I like her.
Perfume. girl.
she was in Night of the Creeps.
She smells nice.
Robert Russler, who was Max,
Stay Lauder.
he was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael Berryman he's the bald guy at the end.
Yes.
With the whatever you call him, the
Okay.
Mad
Creepy
Max
biker
guy.
dude.
Yeah. He was in The Hills Have Eyes.
No.
So there's a
He was. He's a little creepy.
yeah.
He looks like he.
But
But he
lived in
does-
the
Yeah.
hills.
He doesn't want to
wanna
lose his teaching job.
That's right.
You guys brought up earlier that he wrote the movie in 2 days?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And Danny Elfman wrote the song just from the. He was on a road trip and just driving home. By the time he got home, he had the whole song. Then he did a demo of it.
Rob loves.
So everything was well thought out in
It
the
is.
movie.
Okay, and this is a bad. I should have done my research, but I saw a review that compared this movie. It said this movie is kind of like is it Cameron Crowe? He did Vanilla Sky,
Okay.
so he'd done all these like kind of cool movies, and then he did Vanilla Sky, which was
Off the wall.
weird.
Yes.
right. And they were comparing how this is John Hughes's
Vanilla,
Vanilla
Sky.
Sky,
Ooh.
and he just kind of got.
I think I like this one better than Vanilla Sky.
I do
You've
too.
gotten
yeah.
you've gotten deep in there today.
Yeah. No, but I think
Are we surprised by this?
No.
But I
on
think
Rock?
that's why this movie works, because I think he kind of was able to go nuts. He wrote it in 2 days. He was too busy doing his other projects. Like, let's just go nuts.
Yeah.
No holds barred. We're just gonna do it.
I like it.
And
Which is a good movie.
But here's
Oh,
why I
yeah,
like
that is
it.
it.
It
It's
is
the
good.
best
This is why
Best
I like
Hogan
it though.
movie?
wrestling movie.
And I told my wife this, and I told Connor this, and my other son. I said, you know what I like about this? It's an hour and a half. It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. It's not setting itself up for a sequel. It's not doing any. It's just 90 minutes of funny craziness, and then you're done. And then you turn your brain off. You have a good time, and then you go back to what you were doing. It's got. I mean, you check every single box. You've got comedy. You've got science fiction. You've
There's a
got
little
computers.
sentimentality at the end when they
Sentimentality.
separate. There's some tears.
You've got-
a little choked up.
You've got, as I mentioned earlier, boobs.
Boobs.
You've got. I mean, you've got sports cars, missiles. I mean, everything.
Nuclear missiles.
everything that a growing boys
Growing
would
boy
want
needs.
to have, right? So everything your body needs, right there.
Do you think
So-
he had an actual
A
checklist that he was
missile in
like,
my house, Gary! Gary!
I did see another fun fact. Anthony Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall fart cost
I saw that.
$100,000. They were trying to film a scene, and he farted in the scene, and everyone started laughing so hard they lost the scene. And basically, John Hughes said they lost $100,000 because they had to refilm
Shoot
that
it.
entire scene. So that's a good fart. Maybe he had hit
That's
the
a
old
good fart.
Taco Bell before.
It gives you something to strive for in your life.
Hey, Rob, you like this? The actor Britt Leach, he plays Gary's dad.
Yeah.
Also from the Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the hair.
So he was in that. Also, character actor Baby Boom. He was in Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of TV shows. I think he did an episode of Love Boat. So he
Don't threaten me, Al.
Don't threaten me, Al.
You're out of shape. I'll kick your ass.
I mean, she was right. I don't know if Al's a nice guy though. After watching him, when he was yelling at the wife,
she
ducked a couple
cowered.
times.
She cowered.
I think he's definitely on the angry side of the boomers on that one. So, okay, questions about movie holes, plots, or plot holes, whatever you want to come up with.
Okay, I do have the first question I have.
Oh wow,
I'm
that
right
was
out of the
quick.
gate.
He's got a good one.
Right out of the gate.
Let's go.
And this might be an obvious one.
Yes,
The movie opens.
it does.
Do you recall our gymnastics program at our high school?
We did not have a gymnastics program.
There are schools that have.
I will
This
counter.
wasn't an after school.
Hold
It
on.
was just.
I will counter
This
with
was
this.
midday. This was
I
during
gotcha.
the day PE. Leotards, pommel
Yes.
horses,
They even had like the
Here.
fancy grip things
the
on their
whole
hands.
thing.
I'm gonna
You're
argue-
not doing that in a 45-minute
Listen,
period.
I'm going to argue against that.
All right.
When I was at Rao Junior High School
Don't tell me we had
in
a
8th
pommel
grade,
horse. You're up there.
we had a gymnastics class.
hit the rings, Ole.
There were rings. There was a high bar.
did
There was the vault. There was all of it. I did them all. So we did it. We did it in that class.
Still holding.
I did.
Still
I wasn't
All
able to
David
hold
did
like
was
that.
try to climb the rope, and it made him feel funny, so he had to slide back down.
Oh, get off the rope.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna
humping the rope.
I'm gonna
Oh.
tell you something. Maybe you don't know.
Oh,
but before
boy.
I met you, when I was younger,
There is no
my
before.
parents put me in gymnastics. I was in gymnastics.
No, they didn't.
I had gymnastics ribbons.
You could have been pommel horse
I
guy.
could have been. I could do. I could do a front handspring. I could do.
No.
Oh yeah, I had lots of stuff I could do.
You had ribbons?
I did. I was in gymnastics.
Participant ribbon.
Was it gymnastics?
It was gymnastics. We went and took it and you did the flips and all the stuff. We were
All
on
the
all the
stuff.
pads and I did the
Wow.
horse.
Wow.
I did
The
the
horse?
horse thing. I never did the pommel horse. That no upper body strength when you're seven.
they had the
six
chalk and
seven.
everything.
I've had some chalk before.
He's
So,
chalked it up.
I have chalked it up. So
How about this question?
so there was some gymnastics to be
Okay.
had at
Well,
times.
I
So,
want to see
there we
the
go.
ribbons.
All
I
right.
want to see the ribbon.
I don't know if I still have.
Do you
them,
have
but
the ribbon?
I want the ribbon.
Nobody has the ribbon. Anyway.
Okay, one of the questions I had
Yes,
was
sorry.
she can get them anything they want.
Yes.
She's changed their clothes so they can go out at night and stuff. Why are they going shopping at the mall?
Because that's where the people are.
But no, she's actually shopping
but
for
I like that.
unmentionables.
I know, but
yeah.
maybe she can't make her own unmentionable.
But she's three-dimensional.
Yeah, she's three-dimensional.
That's true. You
And
could
they were
just-
getting her a present. So they can't have her make it because they're trying to get her something nice.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm still don't.
But she
why
could
is
just
she
go,
shopping?
bring. Yeah, just, yeah.
But it's much funnier when she holds that up to the old lady and goes,
Barbed wire.
if you were a 15-year-old boy, would you like this?
What did she
No.
say after she goes barbed wire? She goes, like, oh, good heavens. Or,
Yeah. No, she
Give me a
says,
break.
she goes, do you have a bra that matches this? And she goes, give me a break.
Give me a break. That's
So, so the
So if
old
you
lady
could
wasn't
do
having it.
so get back to their opening monologue.
Yes.
And says, you know what I would do?
Yes.
Shower with them. That's the thing you want to do?
I mean, they're going
Well, I
to
guess you're 15. You
they're
think
gonna
that's
have
the
no clothes on.
Yeah, I guess at 15 you don't realize
Well,
that
your
there's
brain
something
tells you.
above showering.
But your brain tells you we're in the shower, we're wet.
What? Yeah. That might lead to
I might get to touch
Some
something.
moistness.
Right?
I want to touch the
Yeah,
hiney.
there you go.
Yeah.
You might
All
get to touch something.
All right.
So that, I mean, just in your brain as a 15-year-old, that might be what's going
All
on. So
right.
here's what my
What is
my
your only question?
Actually, what I put was no plot holes. Look, it's a movie about making a girl on your computer, so we can't really poke a lot of holes into this thing. But here's this isn't a plot hole, just a question. The two girls, so Hilly and Deb.
Yeah.
They're going out with Max and Ian. But they don't seem to really like Max and Ian.
No.
They make several comments about, and they're really a couple of turds if you really want to, iron into it. But they continue to date them because, as they quote say, they'll go into a social coma and not get invited to any more parties. First of all, we've looked at these two girls. They're not going to not get invited to parties.
Yeah.
They're getting invited to every party. I mean, Hill
And
and
they
Debbie
accept
are.
them back so easily.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You know, that
too
kind of
soon.
like, oh,
I like when he does the hand thing. I don't know what that is. But
we'll talk about it later. There's a couple things that Max and
well, these two are like they're like Looney Tunes cartoons.
yeah, there's a couple things
couple
they do.
times
that,
they
that
go.
One of my biggest laughs is something they do.
Well,
that we'll
Max
talk about later.
does some like wah, 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 or something like he's a Three Stooges
Girl
character or
Schmerls.
something. Girl Schmerls, Max. Like their whole vibe is a little off, and I think they're supposed to be the cool kids in school, but they don't act that cool. I don't know.
They don't ever seem to be hanging out or talking to anyone
else
No.
except those two.
No.
So, but I still like Robert Downey Jr. in this movie.
Just Robert Downey.
He's still a junior. He has a dad at this point in his life that's a Robert Downey. He's just not professionally putting it in his title.
Yeah.
But it's there. All right. So, all right. Well, let's jump on to some reviews, and we're going to jump on, and we're going to hold tight.
Reviews.
I start out with Siskel and Ebert. I got to watch the Siskel and Ebert 1985 video of them reviewing this. So, Siskel stated that when he read about the movie, he thought the premise seemed a little sexist, but it was a cute idea. So he went and saw it, of course, and then just hated it. He did not like the movie. It insults women. It insults our intelligence, and it just falls apart in the dumper, he says, at the party. So
In the dumper.
That is
Wow.
Siskel, right? So Siskel goes on this rant about how bad it is. And Roger, I like Raj, he sits up in his chair and he says, well, you got this all wrong. So he gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Ooh.
Loved it. Told Gene completely missed the point of the movie. It's a wonderful performance by Anthony Michael Hall. The movie's funny. Hughes knows exactly how high school kids think. He likes that that she actually teaches them lessons and doesn't just do their. He goes, this could have easily been a Porky style where they just do her sexual whims, but she actually teaches them how to be better people. Siskel was not convinced, but Raj, 3 out of 4 stars.
And I want to go back to something that was mentioned earlier, that this is a kind of a modern take on Frankenstein,
Yes, it is.
which I think is overlooked a lot of times. And I
gotcha.
think for a modern retelling, I mean, now we do 10 Things I Hate About You, you know, where they've redone old Shakespeare movies or
Yes.
whatever. And I think that people forget that this is a retelling of Frankenstein. And I like that. I think that's a great use of that 80s storytelling.
I like
That was
it.
good.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I will say, I think Raj was an unabashed John Hughes fan. So he was going in with this maybe a little rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
But Siskel, we're going to convince him otherwise.
And I did see an article that said if you were going into it
Yes.
looking for a typical John Hughes movie, you were going to be disappointed. And I think that's okay. I think
Still
you need to know that going in. This isn't 16 Candles. This isn't Ferris Bueller. This is R-rated John Hughes.
All right. Well,
PG-13.
normally I give Siskel and Ebert, which I just did, and then we jump into a good review, bad review. And normally we go good review first, but I'm going to save that. So Kurt's going to go first today since he's a little less enthusiastic about the movie, and he has the bad review this week. So hopefully you didn't write it yourself.
I like
What do you
the
got?
movie. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
That was my Rob.
Okay.
Stop
All right.
mocking me.
So my bad review, the man who wrote it, his name is Alan Jones. This comes from the Starburst magazine. It's their November
It's a
1985.
very well-known
Is
periodical.
that, yeah. What?
I don't know. It was one of those
I was a subscriber. I got that
I know.
in the mail. Every
Starburst.
Yeah,
Or you
Starburst.
just like the candy.
Starburst, yeah.
Starburst.
I thought that's what it was about. I got it when you know when
thought
you
it was
had
about candy.
you know those fundraisers at schools you had to sell magazines. It was one of those.
I was led to believe there would be candy.
I believe where's my Starburst?
Well, to tell you why I chose
But anyway,
this one,
go ahead.
it's sometimes I have to look to see the content to make sure it's good, but also I got to make sure I can read most of the words.
Yes.
Sometimes they use big words.
Yes,
So let's see if I can read this one.
the big words.
All right. So it says, here's proof positive that this isn't just, or that.
It's already done. All right.
I can fix it in post.
What's
Here
that?
we go.
What's
Nope.
Willy Wonka? Stop it. Rewind it. Hey,
And-
with our bad review, here's Kurt.
Here's proof positive that it isn't just Britain that makes cringeworthy parodies along the lines of Morons from Outer Space and Bloodbath at the House of Death. Weird Science describes itself as a special effects comedy. Funny that it comes across more as a feeble blend of tediously vulgar, stale, half-baked ideas. Requiring the enormous amount of dedication to sit through, the premise of Weird Science was one better left on paper. Then it says, pity the poor actors. They all look uncomfortably stranded in the debris of misfiring jokes. Although there is a certain masochistic delight in watching ex-model LeBrock trying to act and failing miserably. The smutty, elephantine subtlety of Weird Science is enough reason to give this film the elbow. Should you need another try smirking at the predictable targets and labored jokes Hughes serves up, and with no opportunity missed to drag the pathetic proceedings into the gutter.
What the hell is the elbow? Is he Macho Man coming off the top rope? What is going on
to
here?
elbow it out of the way.
Get out of this, guy.
And then finish it up. Still, there is no accounting for taste. If you like Surf 2 or Porky's Revenge, this may be, well, your type of entertainment.
Oh, this guy sucks.
I did not like that review.
No. You know what?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Wow.
Bump that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sucks. And I'm sorry he can't just sit down and have a good time at a movie.
What was the name of that magazine?
Starburst. I don't know if it's still in publication.
The Starburst what?
Starburst magazine.
Oh, Rob's getting on the Google machine. You know, you got to read us a good review. Oh, he's over there. Oh, sorry, he's gone. It's too late.
Oh, it says something.
Uh-oh.
The world's longest running magazine of fantastic films and television.
Well, there you go. See?
What?
It was formed in 1977.
Yeah.
They're still going strong.
Well, I hope they fired that guy.
Alan Jones.
Alan Jones, still there?
Oh, I don't know.
He might be.
Okay.
It says contact us.
All right. Contact us. You should send him an email.
Yeah,
Does
right.
Alan Jones still work there?
We don't like.
We don't like
Yes,
Alan Jones.
we're a very well-known podcast.
Yes.
That's right.
You
I don't
suck.
know
We
if
would
you
like
know
to
who
have a
we
word
are.
with Alan
Yes.
Jones.
Did he not see the boobs?
Did he not pause?
Did he miss and not pause? I have.
Does
a piece,
he need to borrow David's
Yeah.
notebook?
I have a notebook he can use.
I have a timestamp.
Might be helpful.
Yes. Oh boy. Why are we talking like this?
Just makes it
Because
more
it
fun.
sounds
Did
very
you not
proper.
see the boob?
It's very proper.
Yes.
Did you notice her breasts?
They're quite exquisite. Yes.
So dandy. Anyway,
dandy.
Rob should have a good review for us.
All right, this
Maybe
is
that'll
from-
sound
Hopefully
a
it
little
starts better than mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this says Weird Science is
Weird
perhaps the
Science.
most controversial entry in the John Hughes filmography. I wouldn't defend Weird Science in the court of tasteful cinema, but it's a picture that has always managed to tickle me, generating huge laughs with appealing exhibitions of slapstick and painful teen mortification. Science is an efficient viewing experience resembling other Hughes films. It's loose and daring, silly and harmless. While the other pictures have always harvested a methodical sense of humor, Science is a farce, and a willing one at that, taking full advantage of Hughes' cracked timing and deliriously superlative editorial orchestration. I got it.
Yeah.
Hall reaches for the brass ring here with his constant bug-eyed expressions and drunken improv rants. But Mitchell Smith, who is 15 years old during production and frankly looks it, makes for a snappy, high-pitched straight man, dutifully following the idiosyncratic instruction from
Easy
the
for you to
director
say.
to sly comedic peaks that occasionally require the wearing of panties and the aforementioned bras. Weird Science is a riotous production blending sci-fi and technological conceits with an age-old exhibition of inexperienced teenage lust. Parentheticals, the boys are faced with Lisa, and all they want to do is shower with her. Surely, it's the least profound film Hughes ever made, but for sheer laughs is one of his strongest efforts. Throwing in an infectious Oingo Boingo title tune, LeBrock in the finest fashions the Reagan era could offer, and intoxicated tales of large-chested, knee-happy ex-girlfriends, and you have yourself one delectable adolescent comedy.
That was a
13-year-old.
That was
review.
from Brian Orndorff at DVDtalk.com in 2008.
You know, I just once, can you two find a review from like a random IMDb that's like, Dumb Guy 36, and he's like, this is the greatest movie ever made.
No.
Okay, next time I'll just say, Dumb Guy 38 is going to say, I don't like movie.
No, because I already gave that away now, you weirdo.
Movie bad.
Movie no
Movie
good.
bad.
Movie's good.
Movie's good, movie bad. What?
What's wrong with us?
Sloth has entered the
That's right.
the pod today.
Sloth 27 movie bad.
like boobs.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as those boobs came on the screen, his ears started flinging like crazy.
And he goes, hey, you guys.
What's wrong with us?
That would be brilliant.
Don't give anybody a podcast.
That's correct.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, we've gotten our reviews. We've gotten some information about the movie. So let's jump into our categories. And our first category is our favorite quote.
They're here.
You can't handle the truth.
No, I am your father.
There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
So just like those quotes, a great one from Weird Science can take you immediately back to that part of the movie that you know is your favorite. So let's kick this off with Rob, and he can tell us what his favorite quote.
I had too many.
Weird Science.
Well, you were supposed to pick one ahead of time.
I know.
What is going on here?
You said you prepared.
I did.
Here's what's going to happen. You get to say one part. Then that way Kurt and I can say one, so you don't steal all the thunder.
All right.
And then if there's some time left, you can say another.
Damn it.
Rob, give us your favorite quote.
My favorite quote. What? Why?
What dead air?
Favorite quote.
Okay. Okay. There's the scene where he goes, where they're wearing the bras on their head.
Yes.
I don't know why I find this so funny, but he says, Wyatt. So Wyatt is saying, Gary, by the way, why are we wearing bras on our head?
Yes.
And there's a really funny hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gary goes, ceremonial.
Ceremonial. Yeah.
I laughed really hard at that, and I don't know why, but just the way he said it. And then right before that, where he's going,
yeah, that's good.
I don't know. The whole scene's really funny.
No, it's really good.
And there's too many. I got too many.
All right. Well, Kurt,
I like this.
What is your favorite quote?
All right, mine's when they're kicking all the bikers out.
Beautiful.
And the lady biker starts it off by saying, beg your pardon, you have a lovely home.
Lovely home.
And then the metal-faced biker goes, terribly sorry, call me, we'll have lunch. And then the mutant biker, can we keep this between us? I'd hate to lose my teaching job. God bless you.
I'm going to admit something. I told my family this the other night. I forever thought that the guy with the half face was Harrison Ford.
That was when
I watch
out there.
Other
like,
movies,
yes.
I was like, the hair's the same. And even when he says, call me, we'll have lunch, it sounds almost exactly like him.
Yeah.
And
I
so
remember
forever,
that. I remember that being kind of a.
And if you catch him just from the side and stuff, you're like, man, that looks like Han Solo, you know? So
I kind of remember that being a myth. Like
I
that
looked
was
it up.
out there.
Definitely not him. But it would have been cool if it was. So, but he seems a little too angry maybe to do that.
But I just hate to lose my teaching job.
I'd hate to lose it.
Yeah.
That guy looks like more of a principal than a teacher. But what do you think he's teaching? Woodshop? History.
He's got too many fingers for woodshop.
The bald guy who's the teacher.
What's his name is Mutant Biker.
I don't know.
Definitely a high school teacher. So, all right. Well, my favorite quote. So Chet's got everybody lined up in the kitchen because he wants answers. And she says to him, he says the part where he goes, it's Chet. My name's Chet. Right? He says that. And then she goes, because she points to it.
It's Chet.
Hold on.
My name is Chet.
So what happened was she goes, this is a real Persian missile. And he goes, I didn't think it was a whale's dick, honey.
Yeah. I love
that. To me, I laugh uncontrollably. And what's funny is if you look behind him, everyone else is laughing too.
And that's I read that they had lost it. They were trying to keep it together, and he decided to keep it.
There was a couple of times where they show Anthony Michael Hall and the blonde next to him.
Isn't the blonde Deb?
Sure.
Okay. She's Deb.
She's terrible.
But she's
otherwise. She's good. But they start the scene where they're looking into the kitchen and they're already laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Then they cut to a different shot. They're not laughing. And then he says the whale's dick, and then they all start cracking up.
Well, we'll transition back to Rob. I will agree with you. There's 1,000 quotes here. I have another one. This was my second favorite quote no matter what. And it's when they're driving in the car. Oh. And he says, "You don't even have a license, Lisa." My whole life I've laughed. Give me the keys. My whole life I've done that. I've been in people's back seats and I've just randomly done that. Give me license, Lisa.
What does he say when she takes that hard turn and he says something?
It's like my balls are
my ass. But other than that, I'm fine. Gosh, this is inappropriate, but
what?
Yeah, where he says, one of the first times they meet Chet.
I just said whale's dick, but yours is inappropriate. Go ahead.
And they're up at the top of the stairs, and he says, he goes, "You two donkey dicks couldn't get laid in a morgue." And just the way he delivers
doesn't even
it
make sense.
Yes. Nothing he says, because the other thing he says that I laugh for some reason. He's coming down the steps, and he goes, "Time to pay the fiddler." That's not the saying.
It's not.
He's
but
mixed, but it works. And
oh yeah. So, well, I'm just gonna go on record,
Pilgrim,
that Bill Paxton's
he's the best
probably
part of
best part of the movie.
Yeah,
he's only in it for about 6 or 7 minutes, and he's just hitting home runs left and right.
Oh my God.
Like he is, everything he does is just on fire. My wife was saying, her and your wife, her sister, they used to do that thing he did where he goes into his room and he hits the elbows and the foot on the door at the same time. She goes, "We used to do that." So,
my wife was telling me yesterday about our wives and their friend. where they actually did the bras on the head,
did.
and they
My
had the
wife told me
Ouija
that too.
board.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, "Oh, I gotta text Paula see if she was there too."
Oh, yes.
I never heard back, so I don't know if Paula was
okay.
on there.
Oh, there might
And
be pictures somewhere.
Paula
That's
was-
what my wife said. She said there was pictures. She didn't know where they are.
Ooh.
I think I have them.
Yeah.
And by the way,
They're
you-
going on. They're going up.
They're
do you
going
know
up.
what they were doing? They were LARPing weird science.
They weren't
So your wife
LARPing
does
anything.
LARP after
Yeah.
all.
And my wife even goes, I think we didn't actually have a Ouija board. We made one ourselves.
Yeah, you make it. I think my wife told me that same story.
That's funny.
So
The other thing you're talking about driving at the end when he's driving the Ferrari, and she goes, "How fast are you going?" He goes, "About 35."
about 35.
Are you reading the RPMs?
Reading the RPMs.
He goes, "No, I'm reading about 50 tickets."
So
Yeah.
But I think about it because we'll be going down the freeway, and my wife will say, "Are you? How fast are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm going speed
35.
limit."
Yeah,
And
sure,
I'm
fine.
going 15
Oh, yeah.
over. But anyway, I'm going 35.
You got anything else, Kerry?
I do not.
Nothing else? He only like one in the
There's
whole movie.
so many.
Only
All right.
one. No,
So-
there's. All right, I got another one.
Oh, okay.
It goes with like the Breakfast Club because Anthony Michael Hall's
Oh, yeah.
girlfriends are always from Canada.
They always are.
So Wyatt goes, "Well, what about your girl in Canada?" He goes, "She lives in Canada. This girl has no morals.
No morals.
You know, I don't like that in a girl. It's rough having those kinds of relationships. You'll
well,
see."
Yeah, I just like how
I mean-
he treats Wyatt like he's the younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, "Oh, you'll learn.
figure it out.
You'll
You'll
figure it out."
learn.
well, he is like a year older than him. So.
But like that scene where he's got the suit coat on, or,
Oh, yeah.
or the smoking jacket, or whatever
Yeah.
that is. Don't get your BO on it.
Yeah.
But he's drinking a juice box, and just the way he's talking to Wyatt.
But by
he's
the
like,
way, if-
he goes, "What about this mess?"
Don't
And he
get
goes,
BO on Chet's jacket.
yes,
He reminds me a little
the
bit
jacket's amazing. by the way.
like your and I's relationship.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we go. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
It is. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yes. Because
Whatever.
the one of the, where he goes,
David's like, I know. I had a girlfriend from Minnesota.
Whatever. Minnesota.
no, he goes, Wyatt.
No one knows. Stop it. Oofta.
Oofta. It's
Wyatt-
on my toe.
Wyatt goes, "What about this mess?" And Gary goes, "Oh, you'll have time to clean it up
Yeah,
tomorrow.
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine."
I like if you look behind him in that scene, he's drinking that juice box. There's like 9 other juice
Yeah.
boxes empty on. He's really,
He's like,
really pounding
just so
those
he's
juice
like,
boxes.
"You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out."
I do
it.
like when Gary's making a mess in the bathroom, and Wyatt yells back, "Don't make a mess. The maid doesn't come in till Monday."
Yeah.
Maid.
So they're doing okay.
Yeah, that house is insane, by the way. When I was a kid, I wanted his room. Like Gary's room or Wyatt's room. It's got the 2 beds. It's
What
huge.
What are they eating out of the bowl?
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
Some sort of trail mix. He looks like
Yeah.
it's a
He
raisin.
picks
He
on
puts
it.
it
Kinda
back,
thing,
and then
yeah.
But the way he walks right across the bed, just takes it. He doesn't.
yeah.
He's just yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, category 2 is our favorite scene. We'll start with the Movie Hound on this one.
Oh.
What do we got?
favorite scene. I'm gonna go meeting with Gary's parents.
Ooh, you got a howl late on that one.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Okay, meeting with Gary's parents.
I just think it's funny how Dad is finally calling. Like, why is this woman hanging out with this teenager?
I like, yes. You go to Gary's schools?
Yeah,
That's who I look like.
and then Mom is crazy, like you said. But
Love Mom.
A quote that I was saving just for this that I didn't bring up is Lisa, you know there's going to be sex, drugs, rock and roll, chips, dips, chains, whips. You know, your basic high school orgy type of thing. I'm not talking about
Vaseline.
candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that. No. Just a couple of 100 kids running around in their underwear acting like complete animals.
It's awesome. That's a good scene.
And then I watched that scene with my wife, and I go, just watch this. It gets out of it. Just goes,
and then it
nuts.
goes
And
into
I wasn't
the combing the
tossing
hair
off
and
the-
the tossing off
You
the
said you were
magazines.
combing
She
your
goes,
hair.
"Oh, Gary."
the water's running all day.
I just thought from Dad freaking out appropriately,
Yes.
and then just all the lines after
so much
it. I was
yelling.
Like, it's
Yeah,
That's
it's like, go to your room. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
great. Now sit down.
Well, my favorite scene is, again, back to the whole Chet wants answers scene. I mean, look, Bill Paxton, again, on fire here. What do we got? Butter our muffin. The grandparents, when he opens the thing, he goes, "Are they dead?"
My favorite part of that is where he goes, "What are they doing in here?" The way he says it.
Well, even better when he turns around and goes, "You know how disrespectful that is?" So he's good. The thing about not giving 2 squirts of piss for his
my
life right
gosh,
now.
yeah.
And then when they're leaving and he goes, "Hey, it was nice to see you, Chet." He goes, "Take your hussies
Hussies
home. Their parents are probably worried sick." But when he comes back and she goes, "Why do you have to be such a wanker?" And he goes,
I
"Because
get
I get
off
off on it."
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Hit me with your best shot.
Yeah, that's
So, yep, that's my favorite scene. My favorite scene is I want some answers. I mean, he gives the dude a wedgie. I mean, you could advance that to upstairs too, because like we laughed a lot. Connor laughed a lot when he comes in and grabs Wyatt. And the girl goes, "Hey, why don't you leave him alone? Shut up, bimbo. It's a family matter."
She's got him in a headlock.
So, and he hits him on the head with the freaking shot.
Like
When
multiple
he's
times.
shoving it up her Deb's nose.
Hey, she might want to use her nose again, Chet.
She's going to walk out of here with a severe limp.
You die. She walks out here with a severe limp. So I don't know that you can just walk around waving your shotgun, but he's definitely doing it.
Well,
And
I like how
then
he
he
goes-
does the "I'll be back" line.
Oh, yeah.
and he had just in Terminator.
Yeah. Well, I like how he goes, "You're dead meat, pilgrim." It's so stupid.
Everything he says is on fire.
Oh,
so, all right, Rob, what do you got? Favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the bar scene.
Oh, I
where
love the bar scene.
Gary gets drunk. And
yes.
it's just that whole monologue he does. I was nuts for the woman, man. There you go. Drink it.
The girl with the big titties.
Yeah, he goes, I was nuts for the woman, man. Now you got to believe me. I'm telling the truth here. I'm speaking to you. I mean, I was nuts for the girl. And what did it to me was these big titties she had for a 13-year-old girl.
13.
She's 13.
And all these guys are like,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I just.
But then prior to that, he starts before he gets to drinking. He goes, listening to the blues music reminds me of my own trials and tribulations as he.
my parents.
Well, when they first walk in and he goes, Lisa, I don't think we belong here.
What are you doing with these malakas? He goes, "Hey, Dino, she's in the malakas. What can
They
I
all
say?"
start laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, my favorite part of that though is when he's like, "On the telephone? What's this man talk about the telephone, man?" And then Wyatt in the middle of all that goes, "That's the truth, baby."
That's the truth, baby. Oh,
I do like that Wyatt was plastered, and then 5 minutes later he's driving the car home
Yeah.
and he's fine, but he's still drunk in the backseat.
Yeah. Give me the key.
Give me the key, Lita. So
Is he gonna be okay?
I saw he based that voice off of watching a Richard Pryor thing.
I was gonna say that or Eddie Murphy. He's got a little Eddie Murphy going there. So.
All right. Well, that takes us to category 3. Your favorite spell cast by Lisa. Anything that she was doing, working
What
on?
did I put?
You can pick whatever you want. So we'll start with Rob. What do you got? Since you asked the question, what I put, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no,
what do you got?
it's kind of a catch-all.
Oh, okay.
I
You
like.
can't just say everything. Don't do that.
I like
Pick
everything.
something.
I like it. It's
no.
good.
The spell at the end
Okay.
where she reverses.
Okay. Cleans the house up.
She cleans up the mess.
When she goes
Like, I
Mary
just-
Poppins.
Yeah, I think
With boobs, apparently.
With boobs.
I think if you're a
Poor Julie
15-year-old
Andrews.
80s kid, right? That's the wish, right?
Yeah.
Is that you can go have a crazy party or a crazy nightlife, and then you can erase the mistakes
A race.
without any consequence. I mean, we all want that.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect.
that's a wish, and so I like that she was able to clean it all up.
I like it. Good spell. What do you got,
Good
Kurt?
spell. It goes a little bit with yours, where you hit me with your best shot, and he
yeah.
becomes the gross monster.
Oh, yeah.
The old poo monster guy.
The shit
He is a
demon or
turd,
whatever it
right?
is. Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
think
He
so.
is a turd.
They
yeah.
never
not
say
sure.
it,
So-
but
Yep. Everything I read, he was a shit
use it.
monster.
Okay,
Yep.
is it a shit monster?
A shit monster.
Okay.
My favorite's the when the Road Warrior guys bust into the house. The motorcycle
Oh, yeah.
bikers. I just like that. He's like, "You two can't even take a shower with a beautiful woman without taking off your jeans." So, but yeah, so
catches the gun.
I think it's funny, and then all of a sudden they become tough guys.
Yeah.
So I would say second to that is when the two girls want to use the bathroom, but they stay in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, that's
And when they go into
All right,
the
we'll give you some
shower, they go into the shower and they're doing that quick back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's grab the girls and then we'll go. What about Lisa? We'll talk to her later. And
it reminds me a little bit of Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
It's got that
So,
Uncle
yeah,
Buck,
so,
Kevin McAllister. Thing.
It's funny, but but my favorite scene probably it's the bikers,
Yeah.
the Road Warrior guys. And the reason I say Road Warriors is those
Mad Max.
They were bad guys in the Mad Max series.
Vernon, something.
Vernon
Anyway.
Wells, I believe.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that
I have
takes
it
us
later.
to
Yeah.
category 4, worst actor/actress. I know this was tough.
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Kelly loves that.
I found the back cave.
We gotta get those locks changed.
She knows who we are.
Guess we'll just have to kill her.
Yep, we'll kill her later. We have work to do.
They're eating her.
And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
All you wanted to do was embarrass me. Well, you did it, okay? Grandfather always said you were a loser. Now you're trying to make me one, and I hate you for it.
Well, this category is definitely in honor of Michael, who has been our worst actor so far
That is true.
on this podcast. But for this episode, I went with one Robert Rusler. He's playing Max. Now, they're both not great, him and Downey Jr., but Downey Jr. at least is endearing and kind of funny and whatever. Max is kind of bland. He's just kind of there. I mean, he dumps the icy on him, but and then, like you said earlier, a couple times he's like a Looney Tune or a Three Stooges. He's like, merk, 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 and like their jokes are a little silly, but I don't know. Max wasn't doing it for me. So, what do you got, Kurt?
Well, none of them's going to win an Oscar.
Everyone's winning an Oscar.
No.
So.
What?
No, I don't think anybody's winning an Oscar.
Winning an Oscar? Drink
it.
Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall. He went.
Yeah, he was good. He was nominated, I think, 85. Should look that up.
You should look that up.
That's best supporting actor. Best supporting actor.
But I went with Deb, Susan Snyder. I did not like her.
What?
Yep, I did.
I
thought she was the weakest part.
I will say I think she got a little better as the movie went on, but the first half of the movie, anytime she spoke or came on camera, I couldn't stand her.
No way, man.
Yeah, I didn't like her.
So we're teaming up on Deb.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, Deb.
Hello.
But
Oofta.
Hey. Says the Minnesotans.
I think our friends Pop Culture Yearbook are gonna like the Oofta. They're from the Minnesota. They're gonna know exactly what.
Please
we're saying
tell us
here.
if that's right, because David said that was a Minnesota thing.
100% right. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He met a girl
Oofta.
once from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
But in Japan.
Oh crap!
Japan. It's weird.
Well, it was in the Air Force. Yeah. We come from all over the world.
All over the world. It's a melting pot.
Right. It's a melting pot.
Melting pot.
All right. So you two tag teamed up on Deb, and I had Max. So that takes us to category 5. This is tough. Our most unbelievable / moment scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. So, what do you got, Rob?
Okay, I'm gonna preface with a quote.
You can't just say the whole movie.
Stop.
All right.
No. Okay, here we go. So it's the next morning after Wyatt.
Yes.
And Lisa have had this really weird makeout session.
It was good.
Very loud.
Yeah. A little butt squeezing.
There's some butt squeezing.
Yes.
Yeah. So then the cut scene. She's in the kitchen.
Just real quick, she does also insinuate the next morning that they were going to have sex.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, there you go.
So here's where I'm going with this. So Lisa says, it's seriously affecting your sex life, meaning he's uptight.
Mm-hmm.
10 seconds into my gymnastics routine, you passed out.
Yeah.
You slept. I did my toes. By the way, you're very cute. We'll try it again some other time. Okay?
Yeah. That's
okay.
So was she doing gymnastics naked because he was wearing her clothes?
I don't know. The most unbelievable. Here's
in my mind, she was.
I think so too.
Here's why I find this
He's
moment
the Palma
unbelievable.
horse.
Here's why this is unbelievable for me.
Yes.
You're 15.
Yes.
You have Kelly LeBrock doing a gymnastics routine. I'm assuming unclothed. I don't know.
Here's what's going to happen. I know where you're going.
Not passing out.
No, I know
you're not sleeping.
I know where you're going with this.
I would hope.
I think 100%, Rob,
I would fall asleep.
We're passing out. It would like too much blood would rush to our head. This is just too exciting, and out I go.
I'm out.
You and I both wouldn't have. It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where he talks to two girls on George's advice into having the threesome, and then he goes, do you ever just get down on your knees and thank God that you know me?" And Seinfeld goes, "I'm not going to do it." Yeah. He goes, I'm not an orgy guy. I can't do it." And so that's us. You say in your head, "Oh, I wouldn't pass out." Yeah, you would. 15, we couldn't do it.
Well, we've already passed the point of inappropriateness. So my wife's listening, and she's going to say, Robert. This is a story I don't think we've told on here. Is the first time we went to a gentleman's
Jackson
club.
Concert?
No,
a gentleman's club.
First time we went to a gentleman's club.
Oh no!
I remember we got back home, and I remember we were at our house, and my dad goes, we were like, "Oh, she was so good looking," and my dad goes, he looks at me and he goes, "You wouldn't know what to do with her if she sat on your face." Yeah. I was like,
"Oh,
mustache.
You're probably right."
Oh God.
Anyway,
This
all
is
right.
gross.
This is rated
All
R.
right.
I'm sorry.
There'll be an E on this.
Yeah.
Ew.
So-
I'm sorry to all
All
those
right.
Humphreys
So
girls.
your
out
most
there.
unbelievable is that he would pass out.
Yeah, no,
with Kelly LeBrock
please.
doing a
I would hope
gymnastics
that you're
routine.
not passing out with Kelly
I
LeBrock
gotcha.
doing a gymnastics.
I just think a
routine.
nerdy 15-year-old is just going to be too much
I
to
liked
take.
the idea of the blood rushing to the head. You're just like,
gone.
I'm
Yeah.
out.
I'm out. Boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
But
standing
where
up.
did
It's
the
like when
blood go?
Yeah.
Where does
You,
the pollen
I feel
go?
like you would end up much like Jim in American Pie. That's
Oh, yeah.
how that scene would actually end up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe that's why he had to change his
That's
underwear.
right.
Oh.
Yep. So, all right, Kurt, what do you got?
Besides the whole premise of the movie, you mean?
All right.
But I'm going to go with most unbelievable. We'll go at the beginning.
Yeah.
The door explodes.
Yes.
They're hit with shrapnel, but nothing happens.
Fine.
The,
fine.
the door exploded.
They don't
shrapnel
even get a
everywhere.
sliver.
Not a sliver.
Not a sliver.
You told me to pick something. I have done it. Not a sliver.
All right.
Box checked.
Box
right.
checks. All right. Well, mine was the entire use of the computer. I just feel like it was a little too easy to hack. And
Man, they got into the Pentagon.
War
quick.
Games did this.
How is he not employed by the government?
War Games did this too, where you just hack right into the government system like it's nothing. There's one dude on the other side eating a sandwich trying to stop you, and like he's hacking. I don't even know what they're typing half the time, but I assume he's trying to break a password. He goes in one door, he gets a no. Then he types one thing and immediately breaks that no. Like you could have hacked for days and not got through that, but
like,
he went
just
right
try
into
the
it.
next
Yeah.
one.
So,
Yeah.
And again, the internet not really a thing.
All you
back
had to do
then.
was
It
put the
like
phone on the
phone in the
little
little
holder,
thing.
yeah.
I do think it's kind of
And so-
interesting that there was a
And
little.
what did he dial? Like, what did Wyatt? Does he have a magazine or something? Like, well, here's how I get into the Department of Defense
He's super smart.
mainframe.
Yeah.
Because
He's super
he hit
smart.
like 4 buttons and they were just in there.
I
So-
do think it's interesting that little like foretelling.
Yeah.
Because him and Gary are having the conversation, and he goes, "Yeah, let's make a girl." And he goes, "But why? It's only 2-dimensional. What's the fun in that? You know, it's only on a screen or whatever." And I'm thinking, in '85, they would have had no idea what the internet, the 2-dimensional world of the internet, was going to bring. You know, to them that was weird that we're going to look at pictures on the internet or
That's
whatever.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
and he's like, "We're going to do some
They're pretty good.
crazy stuff."
I don't
They're
think,
pretty good.
I don't think you can still build a girl off your computer quite like they did, but it works.
Just putting in the pictures into the scanner.
And then you put Einstein's head in there, and it
It
makes
automatically makes her
a
smart.
genius.
I haven't figured it out yet.
You haven't. He's working on it.
I'm working on it.
Well, hopefully she's into malakas. So, all right.
Did anybody else have to look up what malakas was?
I
'Cause
did.
had
Did
no
you look
idea.
it up? What is
I
it?
did. It's basically like
It's an Italian
moron?
word.
It's a Greek like slang word. It's not supposed to be very. Basically like a motherfucker and idiot.
Oh, nice.
So is that guy? Is he Italian? Is he Greek? What is his character? He's an Italian like mobster using Greek.
I thought he was a
He's
pimp.
a John Hughes friend that's in the movie.
Yeah, he looks like a pimp. First
Also
of
the
all.
janitor from.
I thought he was
From Breakfast Club.
from Breakfast
I
Club.
thought he was supposed to be Hispanic. I didn't know
I believe
what he
I
was
thought
doing.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
He's just hiding whatever he is behind the hat.
Yeah, the hat
right.
with the feather. That's
Yeah.
good.
All right.
So, and I don't think he got invited to the party. I saw all the other dudes
Yeah,
at the
no.
party, not him.
No.
So, all right. Well, that takes category 6. Best villain. This seems like an easy one,
Let's see
but
if we
I
all
didn't
get
go
it.
with the obvious answer here. But best villain / bad guy for
Yeah.
Gary and Wyatt. I went with the tag team of Downey Jr. and Max here.
That's what I did.
Yeah. So
Ooh, I went with the easy one. I went with Chet.
with Chet. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
went
I
Max
went with
and
those
Ian.
two. You
Yeah.
know, they pants him at the beginning.
Yes.
They dump the icy on them. They're humoring them to get Lisa, but they're not really genuine about it. They're bullies. They're
Yeah.
jerks.
Yeah.
They're the whole time. So
My favorite part with those two is when they show up at the party. I rewound it several times and made my wife watch it. I don't think she thought it was as funny as I did.
of course not.
But the way Robert Downey Jr. waves,
Oh yeah.
he does this weird wave, and then Ian is like, he's going, "How you doing? How you doing?" Like he's a foreign exchange student. I'm like, what is he doing?
I just think they're
Why
trying to
is
be
he doing
funny
that?
though, right? Because
that-
I think
they
they're
were just
just
trying
silly.
something.
I don't know. I just the way he's and then girls schmirls. He goes,
Girls,
"Ay, ay, 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 ay," and then down they go.
But yeah, I got that.
But I read
so.
that in the original script,
Here it
they
is.
were supposed to get turned into a pig and a donkey.
Yeah.
and fly away.
Yeah.
I'm glad they stayed away from that. It wouldn't have made any sense. So
Anyway.
all right. Well, you screwed up
Then
the
you said-
menage.
I did.
So you
I
got
went with Chet. I put he's a dick, but he does make some good points. They destroy the house.
Yeah.
They put the grandparents in the closet, which is disrespectful. And
They were not having a very good time.
And he's worried about the parents of the two girls because they've been gone all night, and their parents are probably worried sick.
Take your hussies home.
So even
And
though
what did
he
say
is
this one's going to put the dad in the grave or something? He's going to give
by
dad
the
a
way,
heart attack.
he's teaching such a good lesson to him. He calls them bimbos and hussies.
well, so they were out all night in the beds of young lads.
I think we skipped a little over the grandparents. I really like the grandparents. She's like,
well, they're
"You
not
don't
aging.
stand for,
They're
you
happy.
know." The
You
part
don't
where he goes,
stand for
"He doesn't stand for
baloney."
baloney. And at dinner, they have a subtle thing where he's like, "Should we stop by and say?" I think they're English. I don't know what they are,
I
but
don't know.
should we stop
They're
by
trying.
and say hello to
I don't
Wyatt?
think we're going to approve.
And he goes, the grandma goes, "What 15-year-old boy wouldn't want his grandparents to stop by on a Friday night?" or something like that.
Don't hit
I
him
was
with your
like,
Rex Harrison hat.
I love that. That's Rex Harrison.
You said you had to Google Rex Harrison.
I didn't
What
know who
is
that
it?
was.
I didn't
It's
look
like
it up.
some actor.
He's
He's an
old actor or
actor
something?
that was originally, what was he, Dr. Doolittle?
Yeah.
In like the 60s?
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like an
yeah.
old actor.
Yeah.
So that reference is a little dated. Like if you're watching it today, that wouldn't. You know,
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't get
Rex
that.
Harrison. Yeah,
But
wasn't he in? The Exorcist? No,
no,
I
you're
thought
just
he-
throwing things at the
Yeah,
wind.
yeah.
All right, we'll get off of Rob's random dartboard here. We're going to category 7.
I like that. Rob's random dartboard.
Rob's random
Yeah.
dartboard. He's going to start selling that. We have category 7. Our favorite Chet moment. So Chet's got.
Chet. My name is Chet.
So I've got when he first turns into the blob and she tells him how he's harassing Wyatt. He says, "What? Me?" And she goes, "You've extorted money from him?" He goes, "It's done out of love." and then when Gary and Wyatt come back in the house, he apologizes. He goes, "Hey dudes."
Then he catches the fly.
I laugh at that "hey dudes" every time. And he goes, "I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry, Wyatt."
Well, was that part when he goes? Yeah, I put down here. I said, Chet as a turd. The whole scene
The
is
whole
it.
scene.
But where he goes, I have a mind. She goes, "I have a mind to give you a pair of elephant balls." And he goes, just his gasp is
Which
so
is why
funny.
later which is why later when he turns back into himself, he
He's
grabs
grabs his
himself.
balls.
Did you see that he was supposed to actually be in the turd suit, but
Yeah,
he got claustrophobic, so he
Yeah,
couldn't
I
do
read
it.
that.
so.
I read that.
So we have the same thing apparently, Rob.
No.
Oh, okay.
He just really liked.
I just like that scene.
Wanted to chime in.
No, we've already talked about a little bit, is the Grammy grandpa part where he goes, "Hi, Nanny. Hi, Grandpa." And then he turns on, "I'm not a moron, you know. And then he
Does
was
the
that-
quick head.
Was that my grandparents? Are they dead? Oh, no, they're just resting, Lisa says. And then he says, just the way he says, "What are they doing in here?" And she goes, "I put them in there. I didn't want the boys to get in trouble. Quite frankly, they weren't having a very good time at the party." And the way he says, "not having a good time," do you think they're having a good time being catatonic in a closet? Just the way he delivers that line.
good delivery.
What's even better again is the 4 of
Catatonic in a
them.
closet.
The 4 of them behind him while he's doing
Just
that.
all
They're
time.
just.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michael Hall's not even trying to hide his face. He's just
That's
laughing
right, he
so
goes,
much.
I wouldn't give a squirt of piss for you right now.
Are they dead? All right.
All right.
What do you got?
My favorite Chet moment is when they come home from the bar. They come up the stairs,
yeah.
and he's trying. He pukes.
The booze
You're
hound.
dead. And then he
pukes,
starts making the
he dies.
sounds. And the greasy pork sandwich. It's just great.
And then he goes, "He's not laughing at you, Chet." And he goes, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I am." Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he walks away and
Who
Anthony
has a
Michael Hall.
haircut like that?
Haircut. He goes, "He's an
asshole."
Anybody with a haircut like that's an asshole.
Oh, man.
So basically, we've covered every Chet moment. Is really what we did.
God.
Well,
'Cause
yeah.
Chet. I mean, he does the. You realize it's snowing in my room. All right. Well, category 8. We have a new category this week.
Is this going to be a standing category?
Standing category
I like
going
it.
forward. This is going to be our Full-loia scene.
Do I look stupid to you? No, sir. Do I look like a schmuck to you? No, sir. Those people out there, they kill for power, for money.
This is our
honey.
our Full-loia scene is our actor or actress that's really either overdoing it or just going for it in the movie, like just either overacting or they're just being really loud or just they come off the screen like they're just trying a little too hard. Maybe I'm not sure, but it's not easy to go Full-loia, so you had to look hard in this movie. So we'll start with the Movie Hound. What do you got?
All right. I went with the Lord General when he's doing the primal scream.
That's pretty good.
He does the primal scream twice. So
yeah, and then he just cocks this shotgun or whatever. Yeah. He's loging out a little bit there. So what do you got, Rob?
I went with Gary.
Oh yes,
his whole persona.
Okay,
from the time he drinks.
Well, I also have Gary.
Just his whole bar scene. He's got the hat. He's got the stogie. He's turned into.
Oh, you're saying Gary?
Gary.
Oh, you got Gary's whole persona.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Wyatt.
The whole thing where he's basically turned into a black man.
Yes.
And he's the cultural appropriation or whatever they call that. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it now. And
so I would say both good, but I would say I don't know if anyone in this is Full-loia because it's like you've got to get up there quite a bit. But my best thing was Wyatt. All right, because I've got Wyatt 2 times. And I think I have a sample when the missile goes into his bedroom.
Oh yeah.
So this is a Full-loia moment.
A missile in my house, Gary.
And then he the voice cracking, and then he has a second one when they grab Deb, the Road Warrior grabs Deb, and he goes, "Get your hands off her now!" Like he doesn't really. So those would be my Full-loia moments. So I'm Wyatt. Because there's several times Wyatt's voice gets up too much for him and it cracks a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel
like Gary in the back seat. Give me the keys later.
Yeah. I feel like that's. I feel like if anyone's going Full-loia, it's Wyatt.
Yeah.
So.
It's Wyatt.
It's not easy to go Full-loia.
Money, power.
Drink your orange juice.
That's right.
All right. Well, that takes us to our 9th and final category today. It is our Harry Temple.
Aspen it is.
I should have stayed in Aspen category. This is a moment in the movie when a character either knows or realizes their demise or that something really bad may happen to them.
Yeah.
So, Rob, what is your I should have stayed in Aspen moment?
I went back to when Lisa and Gary meet with Gary's parents.
Oh, yeah.
And she pulls out the
gun.
A very large gun.
Al.
And points it at Al. And
He doesn't like it.
his reply is,
Yeah.
go ahead and make my day or
I
whatever,
gotcha. Yeah.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah, he's done.
He knows.
Well, he's done yelling at that point.
He's done.
He's done.
Yeah.
So, what do you got, Hound?
I went with Wyatt and Gary after they get pantsed in the gym at the beginning.
That's good.
So they had the good faces.
I like where Wyatt goes to try to say something.
He just covers his mouth.
Covers his mouth.
There's no way of getting around this.
Yeah.
So, I've got when Chet's pointing the shotgun at Gary and Deb in bed because he wakes them up and they both look up and her face is like,
it's her only good acting in the whole movie.
You imagine telling that story later? Hey, Mom, Dad, I was laying in bed this morning and
my nose was shoved up a
Wyatt's
shotgun
barrel. Shoved a shotgun in my face.
I
don't know.
That's her nose. No, that's her nose, Chet.
That's her nose, Chet. She might want to use that again. So, all right. Yeah, I think those are 3 good. There were several should have stayed in Aspen moments. There are a couple others on here. I think when the icy hits them, you could make an argument there too. Because the way they both kind of stare straight ahead once the because they're like, I think we're really turning a corner here, and then boom, it hits them. So
and everybody's looking,
yeah, just insane. I love how much everyone's laughing in the background, like the adults at the mall. I don't feel like they would laugh that much, but they've made it so that every single person, like someone came out of a shop just to laugh at them. Yeah. So anyway. But who knows? Maybe in 85, they're like, hey, tough love. What are you going to do?
That's right.
So, all right. Well, that takes us to the end of our categories. That only leaves us one thing left to analyze in this movie. My son Connor likes to watch this movie with us, so he's going to give us.
Oh, Connor's Corner. He watches movies. It's Connor's Corner. Oh, yeah.
Short corner this week. He wrote, Weird Science is a movie that proves you don't need coherent plot points to be a good watch. Even though half this movie doesn't make sense, that doesn't stop it from being one of the better teen movies I've seen in a while. I could see why some people would label Weird Science a timeless classic because of its nonsensical scenes that never get old no matter how many times you watch them. For being my second time watching it only, I think this movie is a solid 9 out of 10.
Ooh. Wow.
So, wow. Yeah, he liked it. He was like,
half of it nonsensical. Still gets a 9.
I agree with him.
9 out of 10. So, well, we got an approval from Connor's Corner. So 3 out of 4 today. 3 out of 4 recommendations for this movie. So final judgments. We'll start with you, Rob. What do you still think of Weird Science?
I think everything that we've said holds up. I think there's some 80s tropes that don't hold up anymore.
Yeah.
But Gary's whole persona is probably wildly inappropriate these days, but and the treatment of women,
Chet possibly as well.
A lot of Chet.
The treatment of women, there's some things going on. But as far as an 80s movies go, I think it's funny and it makes me laugh out loud.
Oh yeah,
and
I feel like Chet would have been best friends with Johnny Lawrence in Karate Kid. Those two could get together and cause some damage.
Crossover universe. Yeah,
they're best friends.
No, and I think you've used it a lot. I think if you take it for what it's worth, as far as an 80s movie go, and going into it knowing that this is not a John Hughes film like you would
normally,
think.
Yeah. So
it's good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I still laugh a lot. I love it. I picked this movie because I like it so much. I wanted to talk about it. So Rob and I on the same page. Connor gave it a 9 out of 10. Now let's bring down the temperature of the room. Let's go over here to the Movie Hound and let's get his expert opinion.
My expert opinion is it's still a good movie. It's got a good 80s trope. It's a good snapshot of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's still funny. Like I said, though, I'd give it probably a 7.5 out of 10.
That's fair.
Where I would still watch it. If it's on, I'm watching it. I'm still laughing.
I want to get a comparison real quick. You give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yes.
Not terrible. The Golden Child. What number would you give that movie?
Golden Child.
You like that movie.
I think it's got some good funny moments that me and my wife quote all the time.
So crazy.
David watched it with me, hated it
Really
for some
bad.
reason. I don't know why. He just wants to know.
Would that be higher than a 7.5?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Then
Golden Child's probably a 6.
Okay, then I can take the 7.5. I'm happy with that now.
Anything over a 5, I consider a watchable movie.
Okay.
You get above 7s, it's a good movie.
Tammy,
above
Tammy
8,
and the T-Rex?
Tammy and the T-Rex, probably about a 2.
2. There you go. All right. I'm surprised you gave it a 2. So
it's just above,
Tusk
what is it?
gets a -1. So
no,
that's
Tusk
fine.
is about a 9.5.
Oh my God. You're insane. All right.
Just kidding.
Well,
that was probably about a 0.9.
Oh,
I think we've covered
0.9.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've covered everything you would ever want to know about weird science. Anything else you two want to add before we close this thing out today?
No.
Just close it.
Just close it.
Yeah. Wait, I still got more in a minute. Just a second.
I've got
Shut it down.
I've got things to do.
I've got a very busy
All
person
right.
on my summer vacation.
All right, fans. If you'd like to support the show, take a second to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and then share Totally 80s and 90s Recall with a friend so we can spread the fun and nostalgia far and wide. Also, you can reach out to the show on Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it these days, to subscribe. And you can subscribe to our Facebook page to interact, get updates about the show, or message us on Instagram or TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel, so you can check out Rob, Kurt, and I live in all our glory, particularly the Movie Hound today. And all of these links will be included in the show notes.
That's right. Gen X gurus, gather round. Are you experiencing an uncontrollable urge to break out your acid wash jeans and listen to New Kids on the Block? Are you feeling shipwrecked on the island of meh? If so, the Totally 80s and 90s Recall podcast is your lifeboat, and Dave and I are your captains in possession of the treasure map to sanity. If your nostalgia tank is empty, it's time to fill her up. We've got the best prices in town. Visit Totally 80s 90s Recall at podbean.com and be warned, your time spent with us may cause spontaneous outbursts of, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Dave and I are all about to drop a mixtape of epic proportions and have you saying booyah just about as quickly as the existence of Crystal Pepsi. If it's wisdom you seek, send us an email at 80s90srecall@gmail.com. Consider Dave and I your nostalgic time cops. Instead of arresting criminals, we're arresting boredom.
Time Cop, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah.
I did like Crystal Pepsi.
That is good. Good reference.
Nobody liked Crystal Pepsi.
I mean, it was nice.
Nobody
It
remembers
tastes the
Crystal.
same. It just didn't
It was
have the
clear.
color.
It was refreshing. I enjoyed it.
I'd rather have a Sprite.
I'd rather have. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay, boys and girls. It's time to
Just
tighten up.
close it.
Just close it.
Can't I want to read? Jeez.
Just close it.
I want
All right.
to read.
Shut it down. Okay, boys and girls. It is time to tighten up your ceremonial bra hats.
Oh.
And go to wherever you get your podcast and subscribe to Totally 80s and 90s Recall. Rate us 5 stars and write us a review so we can continue to bring you bigger and better shows each week. Also, if you are a nerdy social outcast like David and Rob, or a beautiful, intelligent person with magical powers like myself, or if you're somewhere in between,
He's our Lisa.
that's right. We got wonderful boobs. Please visit our merch store through the show notes on the website where you can get some great totally 80s, 90s recall swag that everybody will love.
They will love it.
Everybody will love it.
They love it all. Do you have any closing thoughts, Rob?
I don't. I think we've said enough.
Good job. All right.
We've said too much.
We've said too much. Well, as Rob said, we've done talking as much as we can. The house is cleaned, and Lisa's off teaching PE, apparently. So, unfortunately, that means we've reached the end of this week's episode. We hope you've enjoyed our look back at the 1985 comedy Weird Science. If you're looking for more nostalgia, go back and check out some of our previous episodes. In fact, this time last year, we debuted a Billboard Hot 100 episode for this week back in 1993, which features some awesome 90s music. Finally, we'd like to thank all of our listeners, whether first-timers or subscribers, for hanging out with Rob, Kurt, and I for an hour or so, and hopefully we provided some laughs, great memories, and wonderful nostalgia. And don't forget to tune in for all new episodes. Totally 80s and 90s Recall every... When is it?
Tuesday.
Beautiful. I like
Tuesday.
I like the bass in your voice.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
very ominous.
Very throaty.
Yes. All right.
What are we doing next time?
Ooh, next time. We're doing a first time something for the show. We are going to be
first time something.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. We're covering an entire album. We've not covered an entire album. All right. We've always done lists or this. We're just going to cover an album from top to back to front.
Top to back.
Top to back.
Whatever.
Bottom to front.
Back to
time to pay
bottom to top.
Bottom to front.
Time to pay the fiddler.
But go fishing on a boat. Anyway, we are going to be covering, it's the 35th anniversary of the release of Dr. Feelgood from one Motley Crue, 1989. So we're going to be covering that.
Okay.
And we're
Dude
gonna,
looks like a lady.
I think you're thinking of the wrong band. But
Do you
that's
know
okay.
what that song is from?
From?
It's from looking at the lead singer of Motley Crue.
I know that.
He does look.
And
The
you're-
whole crew
and
looks like.
Look, he's coming with some musical knowledge today, right?
He knows things.
Yeah, he knows some stuff.
He's a sleeper,
All right.
man. He's
Don't
a
tell me.
sleeper. He knows stuff.
Anyway, Rob, we're going to go back to a faithful time when we were young, growing teenage boys,
That's
and
right.
Motley Crue was very influential in our lives.
yes,
And
that
we're
was
going to talk about Dr. Feelgood.
The theme song of my life.
Yes,
That's right.
is Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away.
That's right.
There you go. Theme song of your life.
That's right.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Fancy goodbye?
No fancy goodbyes.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
It's a good drum.
my house, Jerry.
It's almost as good as In the Air Tonight.
Gary.
No, my name's Chet.
There will be no tossing off.
Chet. My name is Chet.
I've never tossed anything off.
Oh, Gary.